Okay, let's talk about something that is, well, absolutely critical if you're in a field like biopharma or microelectronics. I'm talking about industrial filtration. Getting this right isn't just important. It can make or break your entire operation. It protects your product, your crazy expensive equipment, and yeah, your bottom line.
But making that right choice, wow, it can feel incredibly complex, right? With so many options out there, where do you even begin? It's a huge decision. So don't worry, we're going to break down a really clear strategy to help you cut through the noise and find the absolute perfect partner for your unique needs. All right, so first things first. Before we can find the right partner, we have to know how to avoid the wrong one. Let's dive into 5 really common and really costly pitfalls that you'll want to steer clear of.
Now, take a look at this, because what's really interesting here is how all these issues create a domino effect. For example, say you ignore chemical compatibility just to save a few bucks. Well, that filter could start to degrade, and suddenly, you've contaminated an entire batch of product. We're talking millions of dollars lost. Every single one of these pitfalls, from the precision rating all the way down to a simple installation error, can trigger a nasty chain reaction of very expensive problems.
So how do we avoid these traps? Well, it's not about just picking a familiar name from a list. It's about having a much smarter strategy. Let's talk about how to choose, not just who to choose. It's a big difference.
In this strategy, it's actually super simple. It really just boils down to 2 powerful steps. First, you pinpoint your industry. That makes sense, right? An expert in food and beverage filtration isn't going to know the intense purity demands of microelectronics. Then, step 2, you get really specific and define your core technical need. This is how you shrink that huge field of options down to just a handful of true specialists. For instance, if you're in biopharma, your whole world is about compliance and validation. So partners like Merck Millipore or Pall are just a natural fit. But if you're in heavy industry, you need something that can take a beating, something that's built for harsh conditions. And that's the specialty of companies like Eaton and Parker Hannifin. Your industry really does dictate your needs. Now for that second step, defining your need. This is where you really zero in. Are you chasing that absolute highest level of compliance? Or are you maybe battling some extreme chemicals and high temperatures? Answering this specific question is what takes you from dozens of potential suppliers down to just a few real specialists who know exactly what you're dealing with. So, once you've defined your industry and your specific technical need, you're pretty much ready to find your expert. Now, let's talk about where to find the definitive list of the top manufacturers who can actually deliver.
And this is where the whole strategy really pays off. The full article this is all based on gives you a complete, in-depth analysis of the top 10 global manufacturers. And it maps each one to the specific needs and industries we've just been talking about. Think of it as your roadmap to finding that perfect partner.
So, with this framework, you're not guessing anymore. You have a powerful, repeatable way to make this critical decision with total confidence. Remember, you're not just choosing a filter, you're choosing a partner. The only question left is, who is the right one for you?